What's up guys, Zaid here, and today we're going to be talking about Ghost Ogre. The card is seeing more play now that Etelly's at 3, people are splashing it in, plus it's good against the Brave Engine. So I saw this post in Zodiac Duelist by this man Ahmed Nasser. Correct me if I mispronounced that, my man, hope you're watching. But he put a list of a bunch of insane places where you can use Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And I thought that I would go over this, both for people that are playing Ghost Ogre in their deck so you know how to utilize it against certain matchups, but also for players that aren't using it and they want to know where it's going to be used against them. So I'm not really going to sit here and talk too much. I'm going to just go right into his list and talk about it. So the number one spot is Faithful Adventure on both effects. If you guys don't remember which card that is, it's the continuous spell for the Brave Engine, which either searches the equip card or it searches the a monster or a card that lists Brave token and then discards a card. And so if you Ogre on that, they're not going to be able to put the Griffin up. Number 2, he has Griffin effect to shuffle to the deck to negate. The card has to shuffle back in order to negate, so if you Ogre it, it goes to grave and doesn't negate. And the thing that's beautiful about this is that if you open Ghost Ogre in your 5 going second, you could stop the Griffin from coming out by hitting the spell. But if you draw it as your 6th, it's going to work like an Imperm where it's going to trade with a negate they have, because then they'll use Griffin and you'll Ogre it. Next, there's on the Halqifibrax to special. This isn't crazy, but it is occasionally, because they're not going to have the machines in order to go into Auroradon. But some decks do play another machine link to the, I forget its name, Barricade Board blocker. So they could, if they have more extenders, go into that. But it also is still going to leave them with a level 1 tuner. So they could use that to synchro. So this is not guaranteed to stop their turn, but it is probably guaranteed to put them on like one less negate. And then number 4, he has both Appaloosa's effect and IP Masqueraina's effect. I think IP Masqueraina has to link using it when you use it on your opponent's turn. So since it's engraved, you now can't use it. And Appaloosa is only once per chain and has to reduce the attack. So say you're looking at your hand and they have Appaloosa and you have Nibiru Ghost Ogre, it's going to work the exact same as Nibiru Imperm or Nibiru Veiler, where you'll activate Nibiru, they'll declare the effect of Appaloosa to negate, and you'll just Ghost Ogre it, and now, since it's not on field, it no longer has attack. And since it doesn't have attack to reduce from, it can't negate. You see where it's going? So then your Nib is going to resolve. You can use that to force resolutions of other monster effects too, but Nib is like the big one that comes to mind. For 5, he has the Mo Yi effect, or Taiye. And actually, I wonder if I can make this bigger. I don't know. Let me check real quick. Hell yeah. Let's go. We zooming in on that. That should be better. Sweet. But yeah, so we have the Mo Yi or Taiye. If they use the effect, they generate the token, but if you Ogre, the actual monster is going to be gone, the Mo Yi or the Taiye. So now they're stuck with the token, and they can't link with anything because they have the token, and so they're going to have to find a way to put another monster out to synchro. And a cool thing with using Ogre instead of a Veiler Imperm during this line is that if I summon Mo Yi and you Veiler it, and I have the Long Young with a discard, I Long Young pitch summon a second token, or first token because you Veilered, you didn't Ogre. But then I can use my token and my Mo Yi to make Cheese Out, banish Blackout summon an additional token, and then go into the Baron de Fleur, and still end on both interruptions. The only thing that the Veiler would have stopped would be the search from Cheese Out because it forced me to banish instead. But if you Ogre and I have Long Yun, I'm going to summon a second token and have one level 6. And all I can do there is go into a level 10 synchro and have a dead token. So, depending on their hand, like, Ogre is better than Veiler Imperm against the deck. And then, number 6, Mist Valley Avion, as well as the Flundereeze field spell. The cool thing with that is that the field spell is not only an extender, but it lets them, set up to be immune to other hand traps. So the fact that you're able to stop that, if you have that in tandem with a Veiler, you're probably going to end their turn. So it becomes like an additional copy of Veiler in a lot of these instances, as you're seeing. And then the fact that it can hit the Mist Valley, because Miss Valley has to return to hand and negate. Also makes it in that matchup similar to how it works against the Faithful Adventurer engine, where if you draw it as your 6th, there's still a use for it on that turn to trade with an interruption. Then 7, he has Sky Striker. You can use it against their multi-roll. And something I'd like to add, if you're playing Sky Striker, you can use it on your own Area 0. So you can go activate Area 0, target a card, chain Ogre to destroy 0. Its effect won't resolve, but then it'll go to grave and you'll get that effect to summon Ray from deck. So it can work as like MST would, where you can hit your Area 0 in a bad hand. Number 8, he has Boot Sector Launch with and also Striker Dragon's effect to add back. Because Striker Dragon, I believe it on resolution destroys one of your monsters to add back. I don't know if it targets or not though. So if they have an additional monster, they may be forced to tribute it. I would have to read the card's text exactly to know, but I believe that's how that would work. And then the Boot Sector Launch, if they're using either effect to summon from hand or to summon from grave, you just Ogre it. And you can use it against Ravine or Pisty also in that matchup. I feel like players aren't really making Pisty that often, but the Ravine is a good card to hit. And a lot of the time, the deck is ending with an IP. So again, if you draw the Ogre for your 6th card, it can still trade with an interruption. Savage effect to equip. So if they go equip the equip to add the counters, you Ghost Ogre it. It works better than a Veiler Imperm against that interaction, because now you're dealing with the problem too. Like, if you Imperm it, it's not a negate, but it's a 3,000 body level 8 Synchro Dragon that could be used to make Hot Red. Could be linked away for the link to that, the Hieratic Seal. It has utility on board, and it's a 3,000 beater. That they only have to put 5,000 more up for game. And so having the Ogre to actually get rid of the card is sick. This one, number 11, I was really happy reading this one. This is really cool, and I didn't know it before. When they activate Yazi, you can use this on it. And then not only will this stop them from popping a card, but Yazi misses timing because the card, I believe, says when this card is destroyed. And if you Ogre as Chainlink 2, Ogre will destroy it, and then Yazi will resolve to attempt to pop. And because its destruction was Chainlink 2, it will not get the effect to float. One thing, though, I would have to check. Let me know in the comments if you know. Is Yazi worded like DPE, where it has to destroy a card on my side and a card on their side? Or is it worded like you have to destroy this card and a card they control? Because I don't think it would prevent the effect to destroy if it's worded in a way where it's just one card you control, one card they control. But it would still trade with the floating effect, which is important. And because they probably planned on popping a Yazi, you're going to force them to not float with Yazi and delete one of their resources on board to trade with one of yours. All the Charmer links to special summon, since they have to summon to a zone they point to. This is important with the Dark One coming out too, that the Charmers are just going to be more represented once we have the Dark One, because we're going to have all of the possible ones to play. So any given format where they're good, people are going to be playing them, and Ogre counters them. Celine, the Link 3 spellcaster that summons a spellcaster from grave, also has to summon to the zone it points to, and I think it has to remove counters on resolution, so it'll be stopped by a Ghost Ogre. Boral Sword's attack gain effect, Unchained Abomination pops, and all the Topologic Bomber Dragons. Those are interesting ones because those aren't really cards that see play anymore, so I don't have much to say about that. Omega's effect to trade with a card in hand. This is cool because if you get to pick what card they're hitting, you're like, all right, I don't want to lose my starters, so I'll trade with a hand trap. But unlike a hand trap like Imperm or Veiler, they won't have the Omega anymore. So as you're seeing in a lot of these instances, Ogre actually shines over Imperm Veiler. Number 16, this one is big. Lunalight Tiger's effect. If you hit the Lunalight Tiger, they're going to get its effect of special from grave, but that's nothing compared to what they would do before. Because for those of you that are unaware of how the Lunalight engine works, they use Tiger to summon, they bounce it with Martin to summon Martin, activate it, summon again, bounce it with Zephyros to summon, activate it, summon again. So Tiger itself summons 3 times, plus being a free bounce for 2 different cards. So it gives you 5 level 4s on board. And being able to stop that and turn that number 5 into a number 1 is like really insane. And there's not a good way to recycle it from the extra deck that I know of. If you know any, let me know. Even if they seem jank. Like, I don't know any ways to recycle the Lunalight Tiger. But being able to Ogre it is going to completely take them off of that engine. The Virtual World Chuchi Pop. That's pretty interesting because it's another instance where this card works as your 6th card going second. Because it's going to trade with an interrupt. The Churia Beast and Barkion, they have to remain face up. Those cards don't see play that much, but still cool. Marionetter, both effects. Personal Spoofing and Protocol if they were already face up. So these, they're interesting. Marionetter, you can use it on Marionetter, but I don't think it actually gets you much value because like they normal summon to set a trap, you Ogre them, they still set the trap. So, I mean, we're not playing against Altergeist anyways. Deck's kind of shit, but if you are, the only real value is on one of the trap cards if they were already face up. And you might be wondering, why would someone activate it but not activate the effect? And it would typically be to trigger the Multi-Faker in hand. So if they do that, you're living life. Also, if they summon Multi-Faker, activate Multi-Faker effect, and they don't have any other Altergeist cards, you can Ogre there. And then if they summon the guy that bounces, they're not going to have something to put back. So their bounce isn't going to be live. So they're going to have to summon the level 1 instead and just like have a search, which is a lot better than an interruption for you. And then random effects like Cross Sheep, same reason as the Charmers, has summon to his own it points to. Vision Hero Increase, that's a really good one with heroes being irrelevant, like I guess Rogue deck. But if they activate Increase in the spell trap zone to tribute to special and you Ogre it, not only do they lose it, but they lose the monster that they tributed because it tributes its cost. Hidden City to flip. We're not playing against Subterror, but if we do, that's a good way to hit it. Fiendess to set herself, Gateway of the Six, etc., etc. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you to this man for making this Facebook post in Zodiac Duelist, which shout out Zodiac Duelist if you guys aren't in the group. It's just there's honestly a lot of sus in here, like a lot of very not useful things, but occasionally you stumble upon a post like this that actually provides immense value. And so check out the group if you're interested. Shout out to this guy for this post, and thank you guys for watching. I just hit 1K, so I'm waiting on the feedback now from my AdSense, and your boy's going to be monetized, baby. So, yeah, thank you for the support. Take it easy.